How hard has inflation hit you?
It hit me hard. It's hitting me hard.
What do you blame for it?
I blame the federal government at this point. If a working class mom who works as a paralegal cannot buy a $2 bell pepper because it's now $5, imagine a mother living on food stamps. Imagine a mother who's making minimum wage trying to feed children. They're killing us without killing us. If you understand that. They're killing us without telling us they're killing us. They're hurting people in ways that they can't help themselves. It's either feed my child or how about feed my children, and I don't.
Why is a one-bedroom apartment $600, $1,600? Like, oh my God, for 500 square foot.
One at a time, I said. Yep.
Rent prices is outrageous, and then these jobs, they're bare minimum jobs. Like, I'm supposed to be in customer service. Before I was a server, I was working at like fast food restaurants, and nothing against them, love it, but we need them jobs. But why are you yelling at me over a burger? So it's one of those type of things. It's like the work life, trying to balance out school, trying to balance out finding housing. It's just overhyped. Like, I really waited my whole life to grow up and do this.
Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise, and yes, we got to talk about it, man. So many people are going through it right now due to this inflation. So many people are struggling to pay rent, mortgages, buy food, pay for insurance. Everything in this country has gone up tremendously. I mean, used cars are ridiculously expensive right now. Everything is pricey. There's only one place to really point the finger, and it's at this current administration. And I know some of you guys seen the clips and say, hey, these are some of the people that probably voted for what's going on right now in our country. And you very well may be right, because what we do know is that the last election, 99% of Black women did support Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They're feeling the pinch of this current economy. And, elections have consequences, and people always like to say, I see it in the comment section all the time, you get what you vote for. But CNN, they're down. I'm surprised they even did this interview here, but they went down and they spoke to some folks that are Black Trump supporters to, I guess, get an idea of why, how, and to really, I guess, get an evaluation of the psyche of a Black Trump supporter. We're going to get into this video. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. Watch this video all the way through to the end. Make sure y'all hit this like button. Make sure y'all share this video with people. We are fighting the algorithm right now. And without further ado, let's go.
Virginia, at a shop selling Trump merchandise that's run by a Black woman.
Every woman ought to have one of these. It's one of those things that when people see one, then they want one. Same thing with the Confederate hat. You know why? Because people don't think you have the nerve to do it.
Joanne Price runs a Trump store in Christiansburg, Virginia.
When Joe Biden announced he wouldn't run for president again, was there any part of you who felt a pull to vote for Harris?
No, absolutely not. I would not vote for either one of them. I would not vote Democrat ticket, no way.
This is a white privilege card. And this is just a play. It just says this card trumps everything, and it gives a barrier, happiness and success because of the color of the skin.
And who buys that?
White people.
Okay.
It's funny.
And then when you give it to a state trooper, they'll let you go. Won't write you a ticket.
You think so?
I've experienced it. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And then he said, okay, he laughed at it and gave it back to me and did not write me a ticket.
This actually happened at least once elsewhere. In 2022, a woman claimed Alaska police let her go without a ticket when she flashed a white privilege card instead of a driver's license.
It's humorous to us. It really is. It's humorous to the average American here.
Yeah. A lot of people are so butthurt about things. And I think a lot of it is just fake outrage, in my opinion. I think a lot of people have fake outrage when it comes to, different jokes and things of that nature that are made, about the differences that we have as Americans. But you got a lot of people that are just really sensitive about things, honestly, that I don't think they should be sensitive about. A lot of people upset about the Confederate flag, but I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard, and we loved that daggone card that had that Confederate flag on the top of it. Now, at the time when I was watching it, I didn't really understand the difference between America and the Confederate States, of America. I didn't know. We just enjoyed the show, but you got so many people that get upset about history. And the thing is that if you try to erase history and you try to act like it never, existed, the likelihood of you actually repeating those things are pretty high. I think we should know our history. We should embrace it. The good, bad, and the ugly. We definitely should. And shout out to, this brother and sister, who own this store, who can sell products that a lot of people would say, I'm not selling that. And it needs to come down. And so many different states have taken it, off of their state flag, so forth and so on. They're taking monuments down. But back in the day, man, I worked at Stone Mountain Park in Georgia. And I don't know how much, you guys know about the park, but they used to hold KKK rallies at the top of the mountain, at Stone Mountain Park. And on that mountain, they have, may not be that anymore, but at the time it was considered the largest engraving on the side of a mountain. It's huge, but it is basically a monument to the Confederate soldiers. I've worked at this park 2 years, during the summertime, and it's still up to this day, and people still frequent the park. And that side of things, part of Georgia or the Atlanta metro is, heavily populated by a lot of black folks. But not one time did I see anybody, uproar, outrage, about this particular monument and this engravement. They do laser shows at this park all the time, and people show up and enjoy the laser show. There's so many things that are so much more important, and people being butthurt and super sensitive about things that, happened in the past. That is history. That is the history of this country. I just don't think that, people should be that sensitive about these things.
Trump has been working to appeal to black voters, and polls showed some success when Biden was still in the race, but have since gone down.
The Trump campaign this year has made a big effort to reach out to black voters. What do you think of their efforts?
I think their efforts are succeeding tremendously. All the things that have happened to President Trump, the attacks on him, have done nothing more than strengthen black people's connection to him, because now he's someone who is the target of a struggle, and they have always felt that they've been a target. I did prison ministries for 5 years, so if you're a convicted felon and then somebody else is a convicted felon, there's a camaraderie there.
Donald Trump attacked Kamala Harris, questioning her racial identity. She's black.
Promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
He's acknowledged his commentary has provoked mixed reactions. Price is just one person and not a swing voter. But we were curious what she made of his comments, given that she's a black woman and fervent Trump supporter and former local Republican Party chair.
How do you make sense of how Trump talks about Vice President Kamala Harris, that he sort of suggests that he doesn't understand her biracial background, that first she was Indian and then she was black? What do you
I don't
make
understand
of that?
it either. She's Indian and she's Jamaican.
Yeah.
Is she black?
I mean, do you not think she's black?
Is she? Was she born here?
Yes.
Yes. Were her parents citizens? No.
Okay. But we have birthright citizenship in America.
Mm-hmm. We call that anchor.
People can't immigrate here and not be citizens, but have green cards and work permits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. However, she can claim to be black because of her Jamaican father. That's her right. We're a melting pot, because I basically have a combination in my family as well.
How do you reconcile that? Like, you have a history of blended families.
I want to say this. You got a lot of liberals out there, especially white liberals, who think that all black people are the same. We're not. They think we all think the same. We all act the same. They think that we all grew up the same. We don't. Black people from Jamaica, black people from the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or from Panama or from Colombia or Brazil, and the brothers and sisters out there on the continent of Africa, we're all different. Yes, we share a similar hue. We tend to all have, a certain amount of melanin, that makes us look somewhat similar, but we are different. And even people in Africa, from Kenya or Uganda or Nigeria or Ghana or Cote d'Ivoire themselves say that they are different because they come from different countries. And I just find it pretty disrespectful that you have these liberals, especially the white liberals, especially the women, who try to just make all of us the same, because we're not. And if Kamala Harris does have some African heritage in her, maybe she does, I don't know. Her father's definitely never claimed it, and we know that her mother is Indian. But for whatever reason, they say that she's Jamaican, she must be black because she's Jamaican. If you notice, they always say, but she's Jamaican, basically saying that the only people in Jamaica are black people. Now, what we do know is that Jamaica was once an English colony. And I guess it may be to an extent at this point, but I do, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they are an independent nation at this point. But if you know anything about the English and their different colonies that were scattered around the world, India was one of their largest colonies that they went and took over. So is it highly probable that there are Indian people from India in Jamaica? Absolutely. Now, what we also know is that she's Irish. And her father, out of his own mouth, came out and said that, oh, the people that we come from, you know, they were the largest slaveholders. They owned over 1,200 slaves in Jamaica. That's what he said out of his own mouth. But I just find it quite peculiar that for years she considered herself Indian, opposed to saying that she is biracial, because we know here in this country, we have a lot of people that are biracial. Most Black Americans, if they are from America, you know, and what I mean by from America, I mean, you can trace your lineage, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-grandparents, or great-great-grandparents to plantations and things of that nature, or either as free Blacks in America, because we know that there were, you know, a lot of them. In the 1830 census, there were over 300,000, quote unquote, free Blacks in America. That's a fact. You know, if you go and look at the census, that's what it said. If we can believe the census to be a true document, that's what it said. There were 300,000 free Blacks in America in the early 1800s. Go figure. They never want to talk to you about that. But those people can still trace their lineage here in the States. But to try to call Kamala Harris an African American, that is reaching. And I think that's where a lot of people are frustrated and where a lot of people are upset. And then you also got a lot of people that just says, you know what, we'll just take, because, you know, you got some folks, they'll just accept and just take any old body. But I think that's where a lot of people are frustrated. I think that's where it is.
In your family, how do you reconcile that with Trump seeming to not understand how Kamala Harris could have a blended family herself?
She could have a blended family. What I'm saying is his comments about that, I think he's making a point. And, you know, I'm not so disturbed by that.
But what is the point he's making?
The point he's making simply is that she is not a black person.
There were some mixed views on the idea of a woman president.
What do you think about Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris, may I say this, and hopefully that you ladies won't get offended, but because of what happened in the Garden of Eden, there will never be an elected woman, whether she's black or white, that would occupy the White House that God would ever stand behind.
I'm not sure America's quite ready for female leadership. It would be wonderful to have a female president if and when one arises that has conservative values that are going to lead the nation in prosperity.
Did Joe Biden dropping out change your view of the election at all?
Oh, it surely did. I think she's going to be worse than Joe. I just don't think she has the experience. I think she was only chosen because she was a woman.
He has been mocked, scrutinized, slandered, dragged into court. This man is still standing, and he's standing strong because he knows that he was chosen. He's our David.
And Ellery joins me now. I'm wondering what you heard from other customers in the store.
Well, as much as identity politics was rebuked by the merchandise there, identity was still really important to the people I spoke to. For example, one younger man told me that he didn't like Harris because she was for city people who had office jobs, whereas Trump was for blue-collar people like him.
And how did you meet the woman who runs the store?
I met her about 6 months ago in Virginia. She told me this story of wearing a Confederate flag swimsuit on the beach and how so many people had come up to her. She realized she'd missed a marketing opportunity. Obviously, I wanted to talk to her about what she thought about Harris's nomination, but she wasn't going to budge on that. And of course, polls show that she is not in the majority among Black women. Even a Black woman who was our taxi driver on the story could not stop raving about how much she loved Kamala Harris.
But I would assume that that Black woman couldn't tell you why she loves Kamala Harris, other than the fact that maybe she doesn't like Trump. But Kamala Harris isn't running on any real policies other than pregnancy terminations. But this just goes to show you that, Black folks are not a monolith in this country, and Black women aren't a monolith in this country. I see a lot of the sisters in the comment section here on my channel, and they are vehemently against Kamala Harris. And I just think it's a certain type of person that continues to, vote along gender and racial lines. And in my opinion, those people, they tend to be, low information, low IQ voters. And I'm gonna keep, just saying that on this channel because it seems like that is the case. But when you think about the Democrat Party, that tends to be who they are. And honestly, I think the Democrats love the fact that most of their voters have no idea what they're actually up to for real. I think they love it and they would prefer it, which is also the reason why they've brought in a voter class who they are not forcing to learn the language, and they're going to give them a bunch of trinkets, and they're going to give them tokens, and they're going to put them in a position to where they feel like they owe their lives to the Democrat Party, very similar to what the Democrat Party did with Black people in the late 60s and 70s. And I think to this day, you have a lot of Black people, older Black people especially, that think that they owe the Democrat Party their vote. And a lot of them think so because Lyndon B. Johnson signed in the 1964 Civil Rights Act. But if they actually took the time to do their own research, and they would find out that that bill doesn't get to Lyndon B. Johnson's desk without the full-throated support of the Republican Party. If they actually knew that, I don't think that they would feel the same way or feel the way that they do about the Democratic Party. We do know that every Civil Rights Act that's been signed into law has been voted on at 80+% clips by Republicans in the House and in the Senate. And some of these laws were signed into law by Republican presidents. So when you look at that and you say the Republican Party, they have a history of supporting Civil Rights Act. They were started out as the party of abolitionists to combat the party that wanted to maintain the status quo in this country, which was, keeping Black people enslaved. And it's just so unfortunate to me that people won't take the time to do their own research and their own due diligence. Now, I'm not one to sit out here and say that the Republican Party does not have their flaws, because they do, But then again, name any organization, name, any party, name any group that is flawless. I can't think of one. But I did appreciate this interview. I did appreciate the woman standing her ground, even in front of, this liberal, whiny, woke individual that, in all honesty, showed her card. Because she is one of those people that think that all Black people look alike, think alike, vote alike. She is one of those people that think that we are a monolith. I just do not subscribe to that type of thinking, and I completely reject those types of people. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. I appreciate all the love and support. Consider joining the ARP family. It supports me, the team, the channel, gives us the ability to do what we do on a day-to-day basis. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. And I'm going to catch up with y'all next time. Peace.